King Charles caught up in insult row ahead of royal tour in Australia. Monarchists in Australia have hit out at state premieres after it was revealed all had declined invitations to attend a reception welcoming King Charles and Queen Camilla to the country. The 75-year-old monarch and his wife are due to arrive down under on October 18, taking part in a number of engagements in Sydney and Canberra, before heading to Samoa on a state visit to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOM. The event honoring the royal couple is being held in Canberra next Monday night, with all the state leaders sending representatives rather than attending themselves. It's understood they have all cited other commitments, but the move has been deemed insulting by the Australian Monarchist League. "I find it insulting," one of the organisation's spokespersons, Bev MacArthur, told ABC News on Monday. "They should just take off their Republican hats, make the short trip to Canberra, say, 'Hi and thank you for coming to Australia.'" She added that it was completely indefensible and accused the premiers of gesture-led politics. Welcoming the King and Queen to Australia is the least they can do as the most senior elected representatives of their states. Buckingham Palace has not weighed in on the issue. It follows a new poll in the Daily Telegraph revealing 1 in 4 respondents had a more favourable view of the King than they did prior to his ascension to the throne. The results also showed 33% of those surveyed said they would like to see Australia become a republic, but 45% said they would prefer it remained a monarchy. It means support for an Australian republic has now dropped to a lower level under the King than it was during the reign of the late Queen Elizabeth II. Meanwhile, the King recently made it clear that he won't be blocking the push to make Australia a republic. His position emerged after a request by the Australian Republic Movement, ARM, to meet with him during his short tour of Sydney and Canberra. The monarch's private secretary, Nathan Ross, told the organisation the King plans to stay out of the debate, and emphasised his deep love and affection for the nation. "Please be assured that your views on this matter have been noted very carefully," the response read. His Majesty, as a constitutional monarch, acts on the advice of his ministers, and whether Australia becomes a republic is, therefore, a matter for the Australian public to decide. A palace spokesman later added that he intends to take his lead from the late Queen. Like his mother before him, it has always been the case that His Majesty the King feels that it is a matter for the Australian people, the statement said. Meanwhile, it was recently revealed the King, who was diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer earlier this year, will pause his regular treatments during his high-profile tour, which will run for 11 days, door to door. The King has been undergoing weekly treatment since his diagnosis with an undisclosed form of cancer earlier this year, but the Daily Mail reports doctors have granted permission for him to stretch that out to 11 days for the duration of his trip. According to the publication, the King will continue with his ongoing cancer treatment right up until he flies and will pick up his treatment as soon as he returns to the UK. However, he will be accompanied on the royal tour by a travelling doctor, which is standard practice for the head of state. Following a brief rest from public duties after news of his diagnosis, the King has maintained a steady, but modified, schedule of activities. In keeping with that, original plans for a longer tour which would have included a visit to New Zealand were shaved down. A full rest day, scheduled for the day after the couple land, has also been built into the itinerary in order to be mindful of his health.